Today, I'll develop the story of Gyeongbokgung Palace Part 3, which is one of 5 palaces of the Joseon dynasty. First, I'll explain Gyeongwonjeong and Gyeongcheongung. Secondly, Jibokje. Thirdly, Taewonjeon. Fourthly, Gyeonghaeru Pavilion. Fifthly, Sujeongjeon. And finally, Sojubang. This drawing is Gyeongwonjeong and Gyeongcheongung. Gyeongwonjeong Pavilion. In 1873, when King Gojong built Gyeongcheongung Palace, he had a pond dug to the south with an islet created in the middle. The two-tier hexagonal pavilion built on the islet was named Gyeongwonjeong Pavilion, and the wooden bridge leading to it was called Chihangyo. Chihangyo Bridge was the longest wooden bridge constructed on a pond during the Joseon dynasty. At present, the wooden bridge from the south provides access to the islet, but the bridge was originally on the north side to be reached from Gyeongcheongung Palace. In 1953, the bridge was moved to the south side of the pond. The sources of the pond are underground water and the spring coming down from the mountain at the back of the palace. The water eventually flows into the pond where Gyeonghaeru Pavilion stands. This picture is Gyeongwonjeong Pavilion. Gyeongwonjeong is under renovation until September 24th, 2021. The picture is on the wall of the construction site. Gyeongcheongung. In 1873, King Gojong built Gyeongcheongung Palace in the northern part of the Gyeongbokgung to assert his political independence from his father, the Prince Regent Heungseon. Janghandang Hall was for the king. Gyeongnyeonghap Hall was for the queen. The surrounding bricks walls were decorated with beautiful flower patterns. 1895, a group of Japanese assassins raided this residence and slaughtered Queen Myeongseong, King Gojong's wife. She died in Okkoru, the high veranda of Gyeongnyeonghap. This picture is the entrance of Gyeongcheongung Palace. Gyeongnyeonghap Hall was the residence of Queen Myeongseong, built alongside the king's residence, Gyeongcheongung Residence. This is also the place where she was assassinated by the Japanese on October 8, 1895. A group of Japanese assassins raided the queen's residence and slaughtered her on October 8 in 1895. They burned her body and buried the remains at the foot of Noksan Hill, east of Gyeongcheongung Residence. Later, a state funeral was granted after remains were collected and placed in Gyeongwonjeong Palace. This picture is Gyeongnyeonghap. This picture is Okkoru. This is the place where Queen Myeongseong was slaughtered. This picture is Janghandang. This drawing is Jibokje. After Gyeongbokgung Palace suffered heavy fire damage in 1876, King Gojong moved temporarily to Changdeokgung Palace. He returned here in 1888 and spent his time at Gyeongcheongung. Jibokje and the Hyokgildang Pavilion were moved from Changdeokgung Palace to positions west of Gyeongcheongung. These buildings were used as a library and a reception hall for receiving foreign envoys. Both sides walls of Jibokje were made of brick, and its interior has 2 floors. Harujeong is an octagonal 2-story pavilion. These buildings look exotic as they have many Chinese characteristics. The buildings are connected by interior corridors. This picture is Jibokje. This drawing is Taewonjeon and vicinity. To the northwest of Gyeongbokgung Palace are various shrines, including Binjeon, Honjeon Hall, and Yeongjeon. Binjeon Hall was where the casket of the royal deceased were laid soon after their death. Honjeon Hall was where their mortuary tablets were housed for 2 years until they were sent to Jeongmyo, the royal ancestral shrine. Taewonjeon was built as the royal coffin hall of Gyeongbokgung Palace. The Mungyongjeon was built as a royal shrine. When the king or the queen passed away, the coffin was laid at Binjeon. Royal Coffin Hall and was later buried in a tomb on a hill in suburb of capital. The ancestral tablet was enshrined at the royal shrine, and after the declared mourning period and ended, the ancestral tablet was moved to the Jongmyo Royal Shrine. Nearby were buildings for funeral ceremonies, which were removed during the Japanese occupation. After 1961, the Presidential Guard unit of Cheongwade was stationed here. The present buildings were restored in 2006. This picture is Taewonjeon. This picture is the entrance of Taewonjeon. Mungyongjeon Hall site. Mungyongjeon Hall is one of three shrines, the other two being Taewonjeon and Hwaeanjeon. They were built for memorial events of deceased senior royals, and Gyeongbokgung Palace was renovated during the reign of King Hojong. The spirit tablet of Grand Royal Dowager Queen Shinjeong was enshrined in the hall from 1890 to 1896, after which it was moved to Gyeongwon-gung Palace. This picture is Mungyongjeon Hall site. This drawing is Gyeonghaeru Pavilion. Gyeonghaeru Pavilion. Gyeonghaeru Pavilion, located on a pond to the west of the living quarters, was built as a venue for feasts for foreign envoys and for the king and his court officials. When Gyeongbokgung Palace was constructed, a small pavilion was built there. In 1412, the pond was enlarged and the pavilion of the current size was built. This pavilion title, so it was rebuilt during King Seongjong's reign. At the time, the stone pillars were decorated with dragons and flowers. During Yeonsangun's reign, the hills called Mansesan were created on the other two smaller man-made islands decorated with artificial flowers. All those were burned down in a fire during the Japanese invasions. Although the pavilion disappeared, kings would periodically officiate at rites to pray for rain at the pond until Gyeongbokgung Palace was rebuilt in the late 19th century. The current Gyeonghaeru Pavilion was built in 1867. Other rebuilt structures in Gyeongbokgung Palace were burned down at various times, but Gyeonghaeru Pavilion remained intact. A wall encircled the pond, but it was torn down during the Japanese occupation. The wall on the north and the east side were restored in 2004 and 2005 respectively. Sculpted animals sit atop the front railing stones on three stone bridges leading to the pavilion. This is to ward off evil spirit. This picture is Gyeonghaeru Pavilion. This picture is the view at night. This drawing is Sujongjeon and Golle Gaksa. Sujongjeon and Golle Gaksa were located in the south of Pond, Gyeonghaeru. Government units engaged in royal family affairs were built within the palace and collectively referred to as Golle Gaksa. Many small buildings to accommodate guests, messengers, censors, medical officials, and the dispensary ones stood to the west of Gunjeongjeon Hall. Jipyeonjeon, the stage for the creation of Hangul during King Sejong period, was in the place of Sujongjeon. This place was visited by the king so frequently that a double stone platform was built in front as a mark of respect. Sujongjeon was used as the cabinet office during the reform movement of 1894. This picture is Sujongjeon. This drawing is Sojubang area. Sojubang is a royal kitchen where the king's breakfast and dinner and the foods for royal banquets are prepared. There are three Sojubang. It was built during the fourth year of the reign of King Taejo in 1395. All of the buildings of Gyeongbokgung Palace, including the kitchen, were burned down or badly damaged during the Japanese invasion of 1592. The buildings were rebuilt in 1867, but the kitchen was later demolished to provide space for the Joseon production promotion exhibition held by the Japanese colonialists in 1915. Restoration of current Sojubang site was started in 2011 and complete in 2015. First is Waesojubang. Waesojubang, also called Park Sojubang or Aura Royal Kitchen, is the kitchen in which food was prepared and cooked for major banquets and seasonal festivities such as New Year's Day, Dano, Chuseok, and Dongji. Secondly is Naesojubang. Naesojubang, known as the Ansojubang or Inner Royal Kitchen, is where food was prepared and cooked for main meals, including breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that were served to the kings and queens. Royal meals were prepared by top-grade cooks with only the very best ingredients, which include special and rare local products brought to the capital from all around the country. The meals prepared in this royal kitchen were arranged on 3 tables. One is Daewonban, another is Sowonban, the other is Cheksangban. Cheksangban was used to cook a hot pot or jeongol consisting of meat and fresh vegetables. 생물방, known by several different names such as Hokkaedang, Senggabang, and Senggatbang, was a royal kitchen in which desserts or snacks largely consisting of fresh or cooked fruits, confections, tea, punches, and porridge were prepared for the kings of Joseon. Besides the meaning of animals and plants alive, 생물 also means making various foods. The refreshment prepared in this part of the royal kitchen was sometimes carried to the Naesojubang or Waesojubang. This picture is Sojubang area. The inside of Sojubang is not being built.